Hello and welcome to 7 Super Series. I'm Ben from the Bonehead podcast and this is the season wrap-up. Seven Super Series is our escalation league for the best way to play Blood Bowl Sevens. Sevens is a fast play variant with a smaller pitch, smaller teams, shorter halves, but bigger gameplay. We've got 5 teams facing off against each other across 10 weeks. Then we'll take the top 4 teams and through a series of knockout playoff games, determine the 7 Super Series 3 champion. This is an escalation league, so no permanent injuries, and before each game a team plays, they will receive a single skill depending on their team tier. Okay, it's been a week, so I'm hoping that you've all managed to tune in and watch the grand final of 7 Super Series Season 3. We ended up with a bit of a fast-paced Edge versus Edge shootout. Now, I know a couple of you were disappointed with that. In particular, I think a lot of people were disappointed when the Khorne team got taken out because they were looking so mighty the entire time. I personally was super impressed with how Khorne played in this event. I was super impressed with how Trips played them, and they felt, I don't know, they just felt like a juggernaut. And that match where they dropped out of the season was probably the biggest surprise of the finals. So we had a lot of fun with this entire series. And I mean, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone out there who participated in the viewer championship, that got involved and started like to just get to grips with the team. The way we progressed the game as it went through, adding one skill after each round, really helped the teams develop. This is something we've been doing since 7 Super Series Season 1 because it was just... It takes away the complication of a league system and it balances the complication of a league system. You never know, we might want to change it up for the 7 Super Series Season 4 this year, but I like the way it goes. We might slow it down a little bit potentially, but there's a ton of things we can do. So first point would be we would love some feedback from you about the series, the kind of staging, the skills, what you think we could do better next time, because I like the structure. And the teams felt massively different going into the finals as they did the first kind of 6 weeks. The teams were finding themselves, and I think the Loathen Legion are a really good example of this, where they kind of struggled out the gate. Without those skills, Elven Union were just a bit they were just victimized a bit, and it was really interesting to see. But when they got juiced up with those skills going into that round 4, round 5, and then into the finals, I felt like they were really able to pile on the pressure, and hey, we kind of saw that in the season final as well. And yeah, I think the biggest upset was them beating Khorne in that semi-final and getting into the final. It was a good game, and if the Loathen Legion, they were humming, and Khorne can't really play from behind. They can play insane defense, especially with the roster that we had for the team in this season. You know, those 3 Bloodseekers, when they all got block after round 3, maybe it was round 4, brutal, absolutely brutal. And being able to build that kind of tower defense that Trips kind of started brewing up on our live stream, and then very much brought it over to this one. What the heck can you do? Like, your opponent either has to just wait for you to get loads of free blocks, or just take suicidal cage dives, which again is just going to deplete yourselves against teams. But the Loathen Legion managed to sneak away, got those scores, and Khorne couldn't play from behind at that point. And the Undercity Warpfires got into the final by beating the Ogre team. Now, Ogres, I think, overperformed. They overperformed this season. But when you got a tier 3 team like Ogres up against Underworld, when they're humming with skills, they were a very heavy favourite. The Khorne Loathen Legion one was kind of, I think Khorne were actually favoured in that one. Undercity Warpfires were favoured against the Ogre team going into the semi-finals. But then it came to the Underworld versus Elven Union, and the Undercity Warpfires were favoured, but not by much. I think maybe 55-45, because both of these teams by that point were on a bit of a run, and they'd proven how much they could achieve. And you know, I stand by my preview discussion saying that, you know, all you need to do is break serve once, you go up that extra touchdown, and you can start kind of capitalizing on it. hey, if you break serve twice, you can end up with an absolute drumming of a one-sided landslide shootout, which is exactly what we had in the final. So you guys know I absolutely love sevens. The reason I love sevens is you can binge a bunch of games, and every game has a very different narrative. And when you're done after 45 minutes, you move on with your life and rack them up again and go for it again. So we got to kind of, I think, show off how sevens works. Show off some of the stuff you can do with it when you go for having an expansion league. And I really do feel you got the full whack of the teams. You got them right at the beginning, straight out of the gate, no skills. And we kind of demonstrated how lethal 4 to 5 skills can be in sevens, and I think that ramp up was wonderful. I think I stand by it. I think it was awesome, but absolutely we can do something a little bit different next season. Anyway, the most important and exciting point of all of these series is the viewer championship. So we went into the final, we did the leaderboards, we've had some great messages from you guys, some great guesses. I've done my best to curate the scores and make sure they're accurate. So I know a couple of you messaged last time was like, oh, they're missing this score, this isn't quite right. And you were right. Hilariously, we get spam bots in there, so when I export the comments, I go in and I take out bits of that where there's spam bots in there. If I don't reset it before I import the new information, there's gaps, which is what happened in the last round. But we should be pretty much straight and clear with the data for this one. So let's move on to the final standings, and for those of you who scored enough points to be in the top 20 to get Bonehead Podcast Loot. First place, Joe Mama and Trevor Turner with 33 points. Panenka at 32 points. Adam Pike, Brad Barrett, Chris Stevenson, Justin Koselak and Mike V at 31 points. Fourth place, Austin Faulkner. Fifth place, Adam Wilcox, Blunt Brush, Dean Wilson, T-Sticks. Sixth place with 28 points, Alex Geddes and Dennis Fry. Seventh place with 27 points, Ads D, Andy Tucker, Baron, who we actually got to stream, Gareth Kirby, and Papa Z as well. So what we're going to do to get you that loot is if you go to a webpage, and I will link it immediately below in the top comment, so it's really easy for you to do. You can jump in there and it's the contact form. You can put in, hey, I want my loot, this is my name, here's my contact address. We'll get back to you with a free postage code for our website, and then you can go on that. You can put in your address as current, and it goes through our website system so that it's automatically then kind of resolved by us. We don't have to do any thinking. We just go through the thing, export the order, goes through the Royal Mail thing, they provide the schedule and the postage, and it just kind of is an automatic thing. So all of you guys will be up for a Bonehead Championship winner ball token, which is pretty cool, and it's just so much fun, and I really appreciate everybody getting involved with that. Now there will be the full Star Wars scroll at the end of the episode. And I know that you are thinking two things. What is the next series, and will my points carry over? The next series, because of the cadence of the year and the tournaments that are coming up, we've got Beachhead coming up next month. And then the next tournament that we'll be running will be, well, the next physical tournament we'll be running is going to be Dorset Dungeon Bowl in May. So we are going to go straight from this into filming our Dungeon Bowl series. We can start releasing that in March time, so that it kind of wraps up just about a couple of weeks after the kind of Dungeon Bowl timeline. So we go Dungeon Bowl, we got a Dungeon Bowl tournament, so we can kind of give 2 to 3 months of Dungeon Bowl, and then we're going straight into the big boy again. We're going to go into the Bonehead Championship 2, and we've picked up our teams, we've mostly painted the teams, and that's going to be absolutely brilliant. So we're going to go into Dungeon Bowl next. So, will the points roll over? Yes, they will. But what I will do is, because of the way the Dungeon Bowl guessing system is, it has less points. We will essentially round down the points to a factor to match the Dungeon Bowl points, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'll do a video about it. In fact, it'll be in the very first, well, it'll be in the series preview for Dungeon Bowl in probably in a few weeks yet. Obviously, it's only January, so probably about 6 weeks we'll get that preview video up, which will explain what we've done with the points that carry over. If you are a winner, your points are going to be gone, but everybody else's will carry over in one way or another to make sure that you're in for a really good chance to get your winner's token for the next series. So it's going to be Dungeon Bowl next, and the points will carry over. I guess my final thoughts for the series are, I love the teams. I think we got a couple of things improved. So I didn't paint all the teams, so not every team was green, brown, and looked exactly the same, which I think is a massive step forward. You know, having Ian and Ben and Milton paint the teams actually made them so much better. Like, there was just a real nice identity and a really nice finish to them. And the filming and the audio. Like, the audio, I think, was pretty good for the most of the season. We've reverted to cables now, just because it works better. Big cables, like 4-meter clip-on cables, but hey, we're sitting down playing Blood Bowl, so it's fine. And it gives you an extra couple of meters so that if you stand up to go to the bathroom, you're not just going to get yoinked back. Actually, just kind of wait a little bit longer, then yoink you back by your neck. So happy with the audio. Can be a little bit of balancing issue, but that's something that I'm getting better at with the post, with the editing. And the filming, if you just think about how we started this season, which was using the handheld camera, and I know the comment sticks with me about it being like the Normandy beaches scene from Saving Private Ryan, which I think was incredibly fair. And then we developed a way to make it a lot flatter, a lot smoother. Then we upgraded our cameras to the PTZ ones, which got a lot better. It's really important that we keep the point of view shots for these seasons. It's kind of like a part of the season's identity. We did, I think, in one of our other seasons, try a kind of side-on overhead mixed blend. I think we tried that in the Bonehead Championship before we went into Dungeon Bowl, and you know, as part of like tech development, and I liked it, but it wasn't the same. It didn't have the same kind of feeling for it. Well, we've come up with a hybrid method that I'm going to be trying soon, which is going to give you the same effect as a point of view without the shaking. So we had two kind of issues with shaking. One was the fact that I drink a lot of caffeine, so moving a camera around, you do get the shakes. And the second thing is when we started using a mount for the table for the camera, it got stuck on a couple of bits of it, and when you play Blood Bowl, sometimes you bang the table, right? So there was a bit of table shake one way or another that kind of it was unavoidable. I think it got a lot better, but it got a bit unavoidable. Got a new system, got a new plan that's going to allow us to kind of utilize the cameras we've got but still give that point of view shot without having the shaky cam. You know, I don't want to do the Blair Witch Blood Bowl project, although that would be quite fun. Stay tuned for for Halloween for that one. So that's something that we're going to move on for the next season of anything that we do. Dungeon Bowl is, however, going to be using our PTZ side and top cams, because I think with the 3D Dungeon Bowl pitches, we've got one, and I've already started printing the second one, and the third one I've lined up as well, because there are 3 different maps this time. The third one's going to be awesome. Just think the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, but with Dungeon Bowl. Excited about that. I think it's going to look really good. I think we're going to have a really good time filming it. That side camera, so you can kind of see through the dungeon. We'll have it on the tracker so that we can kind of shuffle it along if we need to. You've got the overhead shot so we can zoom in on the rooms. I think it's going to look really good. So we're going into the Dungeon Bowl one because we want to make sure that Dungeon Bowl, you've got that kind of like March, April, May is Dungeon Bowl season, and then you go into full-on Blood Bowl season leading up to the World Cup, which is what we want to do. And I'm just really excited for that. I think it's going to be a lot of good fun. But this is your opportunity to let us know what you think we can do better, what you'd like to see from a way of a 7 series, and just in general, because it's great fun. I'm so happy. I feel so lucky to be able to do this and have all of you folks just get involved one way or another. I just love playing Blood Bowl, and it's a great way to kind of put it together. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned to the end of the video for the full-on Star Wars scroll, and we'll be back again soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.